No matter where you are in the world, unless you're in the jungles of Amazon, science and technology has most likely impacted your life in one way or another. And essentially, the core, the root of science and technology is humans, the human brain more specifically, and of course, the rest of the body as well. And the point I'm trying to make is that everything has been given birth the way we know the world today, from the innovations that we've had in technology, which then rooted most likely from the discoveries we've made uh, in the scientific world. And for just those two reasons, which is not just a just reason, they're very fundamental reasons, the topics of science and technology should be the core elements of what we think about on a daily basis. However, that is not the case. As you know, we tend to, in my opinion, waste our time based on many different things that happens in the world, and we don't need to get into those details, but I'm sure you know what I mean. And in my experience, and I think other people's experience as well, the core nature and the essence of science, where essentially all the things that we experience today emanates from, more or less, is so pure that the people who are in the realm of doing anything scientific related most of the time needs to be isolated as such, aside from all the politics that's going on in those, still in those scientific worlds. But to some extent, if you compare it to other communities, it needs to remain to some extent in its pure form. Otherwise, it cannot deliver what it's supposed to. What I'm trying to get at is that no matter what goes on in the world, the evolution of scientific discoveries, as well as, of course, technological developments, goes on. And I don't know about you, but for me personally, in my personal experience, without me actually learning it from anybody else, no matter what I went through in my life, whether it was extremely traumatic and all those other stuff that doesn't pertain to this discussion, but the one common thing, that the common thread that I found in my life since I was a kid, that sort of helped me keep sane to some extent, as well as rescue myself from a lot of those situations, was science. You may think it's funny, you may laugh at it. Everybody seeks their rescue in different things, different elements. Some people, it's for them their social activities. Some people are drinking and so forth. Doesn't matter, and there's nothing wrong with that. But for me, it was anything related to science. And I remember very vividly that even through my most lowest excuse me, points in my life, since I was a kid, there was always an element of learning that switched everything in my being, in my body, as well as in my brain. And whether it was a little book or an article that I read, to the extent that I was able to read, or whether it was a talk that I listened to or heard, or whether I bumped into somebody talking about anything remotely related to science, I could immediately feel the shift in my being. I could go from feeling extremely miserable and defeated and whatnot to being extremely empowered. And I think that is the attraction that got me into this field. And even till today, whenever there is something remotely discomforting happening, it just, for me, science is the medicine. And a lot of it has to do with how our brain, most and foremost, is designed. And it's not only about the neurons itself, but also the neural oscillation, the electrical activities, which is one of the core elements that we mostly talk about in this channel. And that is where I personally believe the essence of us humans lies. And no matter what goes on in this world, and it's becoming increasingly crazy in my opinion, it's still, the essence remains that we need to move forward with our scientific work, scientific discoveries. Even if you are not a scientist, I bet that you have those thoughts from time to time where you think about things. Your brain is essentially designed to think logically and with a hint of added emotional experiences. It makes us the immense creative humans that we are, and as a result, we've been discovering these amazing discoveries in our lifetime in comparison, for example, to animals. And what I'm trying to say is that even if you are not a scholar person, I feel, based on my own experience, is that still trying to find our sanity within the scientific discoveries is essential for us to move forward as a human species. And one last thing I wanted to say is that really, no matter how much some people earn in this world, how rich they are, at the end of the day, they always get back to artists or scientists or technologists with their creativity. The guy who, for example, bought the banana, you might laugh at it, but he will not be remembered, in my opinion, but the artist will. Everything that we learned, for example, from Einstein, everybody else, those who made a buck out of it, they won't be remembered. Einstein will be remembered. Everybody else who made a buck from what Tesla invented or discovered, or all the papers or patent that he had, they won't be remembered, but Tesla will. So at the end of the day, no matter how much people are after money, and money is great, by the way, it buys us comfort, but it really doesn't matter at the end of the day. The essence of the scientific discoveries and the technological advancement, that's what is the legacy of the humanity. That is what will be remembered. And so no matter where you are in your life path, science is medicine. Try it out. Anytime you feel like crap, pick up something scientifically, or read it, or watch a scientific video, and I promise you, immediately your brain will shift, and as a result, your whole being, the way you feel, the way you think, will shift in an instant. It's just a fact, And if you try it, and I'm sure you have, you will definitely notice it as well. And so for today's video, I'm gonna keep reading for you regarding the part where this book talks about mimicking human logic when it comes to LLMs, because although they are extremely powerful, they could still learn a lot from how the human brains, the logical parts of it, work. So, as large language models demonstrate, AI has made remarkable strides in processing language and handling vast amount of data. However, even state-of-the-art models struggle with true logical reasoning, often relying on statistical patterns from training data rather than an innate understanding of logic as the human brain does. The potential for a different approach lies in harnessing real-time neural data from the brain's natural oscillatory rhythms, such as alpha, beta, etc. By integrating this data into future of AI systems, such as the speculative nature of AGI and ASI, as well as robotics, we can provide a new type of input based on the biological rhythms that underpin human reasoning. Neural oscillation as a blueprint for logic processing in AI. Each neural oscillation, aka frequency bands, contributes to different types of cognitive processing. When we consider using oscillations as data input for the future of AI, these distinct roles could serve as instructions or regulatory signals for AI systems, so helping them emulate the flow and processing speed of the human logic. And then I go into talking about these different neural oscillations, but by thinking of it more practically, by connecting wearables, non-invasive wearables that capture neural oscillations with AI and robotic systems, these models could receive a continuous stream of logical rhythms of data. And here is some example as to how they might be able to do it. 1. Structured logic through rhythm matching. Future of AI, AGI, ASI, if you will, could use oscillation-based data to match the rhythm of human logic, leading to a dynamic, real-time response system. For instance, when a human operator is performing a logic-intensive task, the non-invasive wearable could transmit specific brainwave patterns to the AI systems, which would then adjust its processing speed, prioritization, or focus accordingly. 2. Feedback loops and adaptability. Neural data could also create a feedback loop in AI systems where oscillatory inputs serve as advice for improving real-time decisions. If a model encounters unexpected input that doesn't match previous patterns, the received oscillation data could prompt it to adopt a new logic path, much like a human encountering new evidence would adjust their reasoning. This adaptability could help AI learn to handle diverse real-world challenges with a flexible human-like logic structure. 3. Real-world application in autonomous systems. Autonomous robots and AI-powered systems that interact in real-world settings could benefit significantly from this type of input. For example, a non-invasive wearable that tracks a user's brain activity could feed theta and alpha rhythms to helping it understand the user's user's intended next steps in a sequence or when to ignore irrelevant environmental noises. By learning to interpret and respond to brainwaves, AI would gain a layer of situational awareness akin to human cognition. Long-term implication toward an AI that understands human logic. Incorporating neural oscillation as real-time data inputs into AI and robotics of the future is a way to bridge the gap between the brain's dynamic logical reasoning and the static statistical logic currently found in LLMs. While LLMs lack a foundation for adapting logic based on real-time context, a system influenced by real-time achieve this adaptability, potentially leading to an AI that understands and even predicts logical steps as a human would. As AI models gain access to human oscillatory rhythms, they might eventually emulate the brain's network level logic, where different brain regions contribute unique perspective to a problem before reaching a conclusion. This capability could lead to AI systems capable of dynamic logic adaptation, reasoning with a fluidity closer to human cognition. The integration of neural oscillation into AI presents a compelling direction for enhancing logical reasoning in these systems. By leveraging the brain's inherent patterns, its way of holding sequences, filtering information, sustaining focus, and integrating insights, we could design AI that doesn't just mimic human responses statistically, but actually learns to process and respond with human-like logic. Wearables could act as conduits between human biological rhythms and machine intelligence, laying the groundwork for AI that truly understands and adapts to human logic patterns. Okay, folks, that's all I had for today. Hope you liked this video's topic, and as always, hit that like button, subscribe, and share to increase the engagement of this channel. Thanks. Bye.